Hello, Abraham. I'm just forming a question of clarification that wasn't my original question, but I'd like to ask it first. I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of babies born, so I've seen them take their first breath. And always, I and people like me see a history and a purpose that goes back a long way, and a uniqueness.
Meaning?
Well, I've heard you debunk karma, and I'm wondering if you're debunking the retribution aspect of it, and I wonder if, because I have such a strong sense in myself.
Well, you heard us here today. Now, what you heard today from us does not sound like a debunking of karma.
No,
hear it.
You're right, yes.
So you are source energy, you come forth into a physical body, you have experience, you launch rockets of desire, and from this advanced, expanded place, you come forth again. And so, of course, you are expanding and becoming. But the way people tell the story of karma is that you are born to make up for things you got wrong before. And it is not that way at all. We like to say, you get the sense that negative emotion means that you're not seeing through the eyes of source. Negative emotion means that you're looking at something in a way that's holding you apart from who you really are. And so if your inner being will not even join you in this negative thought right now, what do you think the odds are of the source within you sending you back to compensate for something that you got wrong before? It's not happening that way at all. But of course, you are expanding beings, and you can feel. We know you came here to tell us what you're feeling. Explain it. It's a wonderful observation.
Well, I just that we carry a long history with us, and that it creates a purpose.
On what do you base that? In other words, describe to us what you see that gives you that belief.
My witnessing of babies,
yes,
particularly,
yes.
Just that they have such a uniqueness and an individuality and a sense of purpose that kind of disappears after the first hour of life. But I think because they've just been through a big journey, they've just been through a big journey, they're really alive and awake, and you just really see who they are.
What you're witnessing in that first hour is the pure essence of the source energy and all of its exuberance about coming forth into this environment. And what you see about an hour later is their awareness that they've been born into an environment that has a lot of resistance in it. And so they start withdrawing as a sort of self-survival mechanism. In other words, they come, it's sort of like Esther, as she allows herself to open to the energy of Abraham, very often she's wide open. And if someone from the audience who isn't having any of it then approaches her and blasts her with some severe problem that they have, it's actually painful to her, as it's almost an experience like that. They are pure positive energy, open, and then they're acclimating. But that's all right. They knew that they would. But you have a very wonderful position that gives you an opportunity to taste that, wouldn't you call it obvious, conscious awareness of personal power?
Yes, yes.
Wouldn't you call it invincible sureness? Wouldn't you call it source?
I think that's a perfectly good word for it. Although I do see that people carry things, as we do in life, that they're, and I feel it in myself, that we carry things from the past that are unresolved.
Never.
Ah.
You are not bringing anything from non-physical into this physical experience that is resistant in nature. Anything you see, they picked up from their very immediate environment.
Wow.
So begin watching. We know that you're with these people for a brief period of time, but begin watching to see if you can notice the similarity between the vibration of the baby and its mother, because it has been learning that vibration to a certain extent.
So that history is actually from its inception, as from that
when
inception.
It began being physical. every time. You don't bring that stuff from your non-physical perspective. Only the strongest and the clearest and the knowingness of you comes forth.
And you don't carry things from previous lives that...
Well, as we said, you are these expanded beings, but think about the story that we've been presenting to you. Contrast causes who you really are and what you really want to go forward. And that's all that source energy part of you is. The contradictory, contrasting part falls away in the physicalness. You don't take that part with you. When you reemerge into non-physical, it's who you really are that reemerges. It's what you would call the best of you. And it's the best of you that is born again, you see. The resistance is only a product of this leading edge environment. And we don't say that to you because you were unworthy, although a lot of religions have tried to turn it in that way, as they've tasted the sweetness of source and then they do not taste the sweetness in human. And that's why they come to the wrong conclusion that the mortality is lesser than. But it's just the way you intended for the contrast to work for you, you see. You cannot know what you do want without knowing what you don't want. But the non-physical part of you does not carry the what you don't want part of you with it, ever. Is that clear? Oh, we so want you to hear that. And when you hear that and begin acknowledging it as you are, and then you begin watching what you're watching with that base of knowledge, your faith will become knowing about it. In other words, you'll just know that.
Thank you.
Knowing what you know, it must be a wonderful experience for these consciousnesses coming forth, getting to be met by someone like you who knows who they are. So say to each and every one of them in your mind, welcome to planet Earth. You have come just as you knew you would come, and you are perfect as you are. And we've all been banging around down here for a while, waiting for you. And this environment will inspire within you who you really are. And within you is a knowing of who you really are. Shine that light back on them. It's a child that can't talk, but it's a child who will know what you know. You know, say to them as you handle them and watch them. You know who you are. And a part of you will always be that which you are. And I'm so glad to see you. And it's going to be so much fun. And keep thinking about who you are. Keep feeling for who you are. Just take that time. And you're going to notice, if you have the opportunity to be around them, they'll stay present with you as long as you are offering that knowing to them. Watch that. Wouldn't it be nice if you could hold them in that knowing for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? Wouldn't that be a lovely foot to get off on?
Yeah, you're making me realize how immediately we lay so much on these beings as they enter.
We're so busy, and what could go wrong, and let's take care of them this way, and push them and poke them and dab them and swab them and worry about them and wrap them up. And
Thank you.
They'll be all right. They knew what they were in for. We're only having this conversation with you because now you are consciously creating with them. You can have great fun.
Yes, thank you. I think, may I ask another question?
Certainly.
I'm fairly new to the Abraham teaching. And
welcome to planet Earth.
Take my first breath.
There is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. You are perfect as you are. You've come forth into this environment in order to discover who you really are. Never forget who you really, really are. You can tell by the way you feel when you are in alignment with who you are. You're making me hard for me to ask this question. I've been welcome to planet Earth.
I've been dazzled by within a short period, how quickly these teachings have helped me to lose a lot of negative beliefs that have been such a cornerstone of my entire life.
And that's why we're not worried about those babies.
Right. They've already.
And even
Yeah.
if they pick up some resistance, they can shed it any time later too. Yes.
We all can. So it brought me to a sense of great well-being, but my experience of it is I don't feel the energy that I sense in you, and a lot of the people, especially a lot of people here, have been with you for a long time, and I get this sense of this current of energy that you talk about. I experience well-being more as a warm bath than a rushing river, and I guess there's a feeling of stasis. There's an underlying feeling of mild anxiety, like this can't last because nothing stays the same in the universe, and I should be doing something, but I don't feel that. So I guess I was hoping just getting a little closer to you, I'd pick up some of that marvelous energy.
What happens is, by getting closer, it just amplifies the resistance that is within you a little more. In other words, the faster the stream moves, the more whatever you're feeling sticks out. The story that we tell that explains it in the easiest way is a car that's going 100 miles an hour and hits a tree is a bigger problem than a car, we hear your beeper, than a car that is going 5 miles an hour and hits a tree. So when you come into an environment where energy is moving faster, the first sensation that you have is your awareness of how fast your energy is moving in relationship with it. It's like the airplane flying high in the sky. You look out the window, it's 600 miles an hour, but all is calm. But put that airplane on the ground at that speed, not so calm. So what's happening, you are acclimating to the faster energy. We said earlier, when Esther first allowed us through, she felt like she had her toe in a light socket. She was not up to speed with what the energy of Abraham is. And especially in an environment like this, where so many are pulling through, you see. You're doing just fine. And you have managed your energy well. You have lived life and wanted and lined up with it. We can feel that part of the reason that this resonated with you so quickly is because you already understood it all on a visceral level. You have been reaching for better feeling thoughts than most people that you know for a very long time. And we think if we were interviewing the people who know you, for the most part, they would have called you stable and secure. And the reason that you were is because you have been someone who more deliberately projects your thought. We are not telling you anything here that you do not innately know. We're just reminding you of it, you see. And like so many of our physical friends, it feels better to feel good than bad. You just didn't know how important it was to do that, you see. So, speaking of the movement of the energy, if you are feeling satisfied and hopeful and good, as you mostly do, and then you just turn your attention a little bit more to things that you are appreciating, before you know it, you've tuned yourself into that faster moving stream. A lot of you have been gentle about what you, in other words, we teased you all earlier by saying we think you like the drama of it. When you really know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. And if you hold yourself in that separation for a while, the stream goes faster and faster, but you don't go with it. And there's a strong tug of war that's going on, which is not good for you. It doesn't feel good, and it will have negative repercussions on your physical body. So what many of you have learned is to be more paced in your life, where you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and then you adapt to what you do want more readily. And that's what you have innately been doing. And so that's why you're not feeling huge relief in coming into this information. You already knew it on many levels of your being. Helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Good time for a segment of lunch. We are complete.